All right, now let's meet our next guest, who just has sat through that dissertation about Harris and her multi-platforms.
It's very educational.
And I don't mean my 5.5-inch heels, which I am wearing in bright fuchsia, for those of you who tweeted and wanted to know.
Yep, she really is.
I really. Boris Segalis is here. He is a partner with Info Law Group, and he's taking a look at the futures market, to be specific, for security. A new predictions market is being developed that could help companies anticipate major security incidents before they happen. This is particularly interesting right now because you've got so many companies that are having problems with securing their information. Talk to me.
Well, that's the idea, at least. As you know, there has been a slew of hacking and information security incidents. Just this morning, I was reading about another hacking incident with Booz Allen, which is a contractor, a defense contractor. They've been hacked, and this organization, Anonymous, is threatening to break into Exxon and other oil companies over some environmental disputes. And of course, Lockheed Martin is another company that experienced a major breach. RSA, there's really a number of them. And that activity, which I think over the past 2 months has been tremendous, has created renewed interest in trying to predict information security incidents. So,
why is it happening more?
Well,
or do we just know more?
I think it's both. In part, it's happening more because, and in part, it's just known more. Companies are more and more willing to be forthcoming about information security incidents because, as information security incidents become more mainstream, so to speak, there's less risk for companies to suffer consequences in terms, for example, their stock price. So the goal becomes to try to put efforts together, sort of have a collective effort to fight hacking and cybercrime, then I think companies are reporting more.
So who are your customers? The companies?
Well, you know, we're a law firm and we provide advice about information privacy, information security. So our clients are companies that
you're telling those companies
security issues.
What likelihood there is that they'll be breached? I'm sort of confused.
Well, no, we're talking about right now a predictive market that some scientists and academics are trying to develop to predict information security activities. We're not involved in it.
Oh, okay.
So this is something that other people are developing. And so the idea is that predictive markets have been used a lot, for example. It's sort of, could even be similar to betting.
So is this like speculation?
It is speculative, but
are you afraid that could drive us down the same road? I mean, Liz Peek, among the many hats she wears, came from Wall Street. Could that drive us into some problems if we're speculating on who's going to get hit security-wise?
Predictive markets have been used very successfully in certain circumstances, like to predict presidential elections, team sports. Many companies use them internally to poll employees to predict success of products or programs.
Too.
Yes, so there are a lot of risks associated. I mean, it has to be run appropriately. And so the goal here, what they're working on, is trying to put together the model. It hasn't been finalized. And at the core of the model, they're looking to have about 250 information security experts who will run the market. I mean, you could do it several different ways. They can create the statements on which traders bet, or they themselves can bet on these different statements. And the statements can be something like that this year Congress will pass comprehensive information security legislation. How likely is that? Or it can be that a certain type of encryption will be broken by the end of the year. These are the sort of statements that can be very helpful, not only to companies, but also to insurers, because there's a...
It's like a grading, like a AAA grading almost, but for security?
Right. I mean, you have to be careful so that we don't have a situation that we used to have with terror alerts, like green, yellow, red, because those are often reactive, not proactive. If something is reactive, it's not working. It has to be
Could that affect a company's
predictive.
bottom line stock, though? I mean, if this group of academia and U.S. intelligence people are getting together and saying, Bob's U-Haul grouping, I shouldn't use the word, U-Haul is actually not a generic term, although I use it that way, forgive me. But Bob's towing service actually has a bad grading on the security. He could get hacked at any minute. Now, are we going to see his stock driven to like I could buy it, 15 cents on the dollar?
Well, the CIA is also involved in funding this, and it's IQtel, their venture capital arm, and the CIA rep said that predictive markets can suffer from stupid statements. You have to be very careful in what you're predicting, and this is not exactly the sort of statement that you would not want to have in that market and would not want to be so specific because it's impossible to predict. Even with the 250 specialists, you need to have you need to have the information and you need to look at everything to be able to predict an incident. So if you're looking at a company specific, it's going to be impossible. So we're talking about sort of big picture items that I think still will be helpful for companies and for insurers to gauge the risk.